The dream of being one of the world's
Her life's ambition was to be a star.
never recover from the public scandal.
To the P, True Age of Change story. Next up is our boy Newton.
Newton is credited with inventing calculus, among other things, such as Newton's three laws of motion, which help prove gravity, and are the main basis of physics today.
Well, I didn't know that, but I'm sure we're going to learn more from the interview. Let's go check it out.
Isaac Newton was born on the 4th of January 1643 in the country of Lincolnshire. Newton was born 3 months after the death of his father, also named Isaac Newton. He became involved in academics in an attempt to get back at a schoolyard bully, where he became a top-ranked student in revenge. We got a moment to sit down with Newton and discuss with him life, wealth, happiness, amongst other things.
Cut! Cut! This is celebrity news. Something stupid has to happen to these people. Have something silly and ridiculous happen to Mr. Newton. Take again.
Woo! Hi.
Hi.
We talked over a game of apples to apples.
What do you think about the things that were taught to you in school?
You know, many of the things that interested me in school, such as philosophy, most of the colleges taught about the findings of Aristotle, but I preferred to read stuff like the heavier, more advanced stuff, such as the findings of Descartes, or the astronomers such as Galileo, Copernicus, and Kepler.
What findings do you think made your work very significant?
Amongst all of my years of scientific research and study, I've discovered the generalized binomial theorem, basically developed calculus. I created Newton's identities, Newton's methods, classified cubic plane curves, made substantial contributions to the theory of finite differences. And I was the first to use the power series with confidence.
Wow, that's quite a list of contributions. People have been quoted to say that you are an extraordinary genius, and quite possibly the greatest genius who has ever lived, and that you have advanced every branch of mathematics studied. How does this make you feel to be so recognized?
Quite humbled to say the least. I've had a great journey learning the ins and outs of the universe. And I hope that scientists for generations will look back to my work as a guideline.
Well, Newton, this has been an interesting and informative interview, but I gotta go now. Thanks so much for this, and good luck with science.
Thank you very much. It has been quite nice.
Back to the P, the True Age of Change story. That was certainly quite a bit of info, wouldn't you say? Yeah, well anyways, our look back at various celebrities of the past has led us to another fellow named Galileo Galilei. How was I supposed to remember that?
Galileo was a phenomenal astronomer and mathematician, creating what we use to this very day. Another fine reporter was sent out to track down this man and see just what he's been observing through the telescope of light.
No. I'm sure he's making much better metaphors. Let's check it out.
Galileo Galilei was born in Pisa, Italy on the 15th of February in 1564. Growing up in Florence, He studied medicine under the provoking of his father, but quickly shifted his focus to mathematics instead. This was a wonderful choice, seeing as he was given the chair of mathematics in 1589 at the University of Pisa, then later 1592 at the University of Padua. I recently began my search for Galileo after hearing he was in his house in 1671, apparently under house arrest. Sir, I just want to ask you some questions.
Stop shaking the door!
I'm not shaking the door.
And yet it moves.
After a few minutes of showing my interest in his career, as well as displaying my love for his work, I managed to coax Mr. Galilei into a short interview to unravel the untold stories.
I remember, 1609 the telescope was invented. It took me a while, but I made 3 of my own using the trick of looking at distant things, increasing the power of the zoom, and improving upon the creation constantly. In under a year I could gaze at the stars with 20 times the magnification of the original telescope had.
Indeed, Galileo was advanced not only in math, but astronomy. He saw that the moon was not smooth, and sketched the phases of it to show the craters. He saw that more stars existed than the naked eye would ever display. He found 4 moons circling Jupiter, and he also found the ring planet of Saturn, and that the sun was in the center, and the Earth is a planet that revolves around it.
Telling them for years that the sun was the center of the universe, but all of the people that followed the Bible, word for word, just wouldn't believe me.
It's actually a center of a galaxy, not the universe.
Is it really? I'll have to Google that.
Unfortunately, it was too good to last for Galileo. The church during the 17th century was extremely stiff about their beliefs and those who opposed it, and Mr. Galilei's statement that the sun was the center of the universe caused a backlash, despite his love for the Bible.
When I published a book calling out the church's refusal to agree with my observations of the sun being the center in my book, Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems, the Pope was angry with me and accused me of heresy. I think it was 1633, and I was imprisoned then, put into house arrest in Florence. I lived in house arrest until my death on January 8th of 1642. In this house for 400 years, seeing myself become even more famous only through this computer thing. Seeing others enjoy and evolve upon what I concluded makes me happy, and it eases the pain of being imprisoned in this schoolhouse of mine, never to see my grandchildren again.
And find all these years and never been out of the house. Yeah, the church really hates me. You know, they're all dead now, so that could mean you're free. Where are you going?
I'm going to Disney World!
Hi, I'm Galileo. In the 1600s, we invented the thermometer, barometer, the telescope, the microscope. Pretty good. But let's discuss a more interesting century. This century.
When your usual cigarette loses its charm.
Warning, the times have changed, and Galileo now understands that smoking is bad for your lungs and your body. Do not smoke, and do not listen to the commercial. That logo is upside down, by the way. Oh, whoops.
You can take us away, Dan?
Well, that's it for today. I learned a lot, didn't you, Josh?
I think I learned quite a bit. It's been interesting, it's been fun, but time to go.
I actually have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
no, I'm done. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much.
With inventing calculus, he also came up with Newton's. It's today. He's a very important guy. You should know more about him.
Well, you know what? During this interview, I think
The Wild Dave in his environment. Going easy on an apple. Trying to core it, because they use the cores for food instead of
Here, that looks
photosynthesis.
grand. It's actually the center of the universe. I'm